Okay, it's getting dark. I really should be walking the dog, but I'm going to share the Facebook Live I just did. Let's find it here. Sorry for the long introduction. There's emails from Biggie. Oh, quick before Right. And it's 45 minutes, so I'll go and walk the dog while this is playing. And I think the last times I was going live, it was visible to only me, which was why I couldn't see the chat questions. So let's just see if we can make this large. Let's see if we can. Sorry, it takes a couple of minutes. So it's complicated. I'm just coming to you as I am, not very fancy, not very prepared. A few notes and a bit of news. So let's. Why can't? Everybody at the start of their live streams goes through all this technical stuff. So let me just see. New tip. What's this new tip? Share to groups. Well, we'll do that later. We are still looking to see how we can go live. But look, it doesn't matter. There we go. I'm just going to talk and share this on my backup YouTube channel, which is Angie Power Disney, with only I think 300 or 400 subscribers, as opposed to 3,000 or 4,000 on my main YouTube channel, which, for those of you that don't know, has been crashed and burned by Biggie Boho and Melanie Vermey, my previous platform hosts. I was recruited by one of their broadcasters to come on their platform in June 2016. And then I was surprised to discover that you had to pay to broadcast on their platform. So for one show a week, it was €100 a month. And for two shows, it was 200. And then I was paid several hundred more for a website that they said I needed, which I never used. Yeah, but it was I suppose, Revolution Radio, or some of these, people trying to monetize being on YouTube. So they're like, oh, I'll do the production, I'll do the marketing, you just come on and do your thing and give me some money for doing that. And then I'll say I own that. So I'm trying not to be bitter, because I have just lost 10 years work and 500 videos. And by the grace of God, all of them were backed up except the private ones, which were probably the most important. But there you go. Feel big, Biggie and Mel, for what you did. And in a way, I suppose it's payback, because when they invited me on their platform, they thought it was fascinating to have an MK Ultra survivor and a super spy asset, blah, blah, blah. But they didn't bank on that. Not only did I believe the Hampstead disclosures, but I believed Holly Gregg. And unbeknownst to me, Mel V, the power behind the throne of CCN, felt that she had discredited the Holly Gregg case as a hoax, and then went on to try and discredit the Hampstead children's disclosures as a hoax. So I won't dwell too long. And Mel V is from South Africa. She's, I think, adopted. She has made recorded allegations of abuse in her family, possibly SRA, I don't know. But she's documented those. She's also documented advocating the age of consent be reduced to 13, which I found rather disturbing. And after, I think I stayed with them maybe a year and did some amazing interviews, with people like T. Casey Brennan, Philip K. Dick's wife, one of his wives, Zen Gardner of the family cult, Christian cult, I did some amazing interviews and some amazing documenting. Many of the interviews with Rupert were on CCN. And the gossip along the way was that Mel V, this sort of very privileged adopted child from a South African family, had fled and married Biggie Boho, whatever his real name is, for a green card. And then they decided to make it work, a business partnership, and maybe even fell in love, I don't know. And also, the platform was very clever. It was called CCN, but it was branded and logoed to look like CNN, for clicks and what have you. And this year, I think it was, CNN threatened legal action against them, said if you don't change your branding and your name, Conscious Consumer Network, we will take you to court. So there was a big panic on. I wonder if I'm a victim of this, because I've had CCN, my archives, my own archives that I paid to broadcast, and then have emails from Biggie confirming that he's sending all my material over and sending my website content over that I never used, that he, I paid him to create and all the rest of it. I've got emails confirming that. Where was I going? Yeah, okay. So I've had them up on my YouTube for years. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, Biggie and Mel start copyright striking them. I've got 27. So they slapped in 9 copyright strikes to YouTube, and there's my channel gone, including one called Justice for My Sister. There was a YouTube message saying, now I wonder why there's something wrong here. Okay, let's see. Down but not out with Angie. There's no live comments, but look, we'll plow on, because I always hear people saying, get started. We are live, I think. Oh, I found out how to make it big, I think. Anyway, look, we'll carry on. I could always check my phone. But anyway, the reason I think it, in some way it might be payback was because when Mel and Biggie recruited me to be a paying broadcaster, they might not have known how passionate I was about Hampstead. And then as it became clear that I did not think the Holly Gregg case was a hoax, and I did not think the Hampstead children's disclosures were a hoax, it began to be a bit awkward.com. So I ended up stepping down. Yeah, I'm live. Hello me. I ended up stepping down. I resigned. I've got the emails to prove that I resigned, but it all became very acrimonious, and they try and say that they fired me. They didn't fire me. They sponsored a couple of my last broadcasts because it just grated to pay them €200 a month to bring content and views to their platform. Oh, we got some people. Do you know something weird? Hi, darling. Do you know something weird that Facebook does? My Facebook might be gone really soon, people. So I've got a backup Facebook channel, Angie Power Disney, but it's linked, and if the powers that be are determined to shut me up, they will. So subscribe to my backup YouTube channel, Angie Power Disney. Subscribe to my Facebook backup channel, although Facebook is being kind of decent at the moment. But anyway, so with Biggie and Mel, they recruited me through one of their broadcasters. Then they realized, wow, she really believes in this Hampstead case. Then they got trolled professionally and brutally by Ricky Tim and Karen Irving, Shiva Burton, blah, 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 John Kilrush, John Kane, Julian Vane, you know, Hoaxstead Research. And the trolling was off the charts. And whatever happened, it damaged, I think, after I resigned, and they said they fired me, they never did. I got the emails. After I resigned, I think they might have said, oh no, we don't believe Hampstead at all, that was just Angie. Oh no, we don't like her, look, we'll share all her conversations to prove we don't like her. And they kind of tried to cuddle up to Hoaxstead, but the damage was already done. They had been so severely trolled that, according to them, they had to flee the Netherlands and move to Portugal. Oops. You know, Portugal renowned to be the little Thailand of Europe. So yeah, they said they couldn't pay their rent in the Netherlands, and their reputation had been so damaged by Hoaxstead Research that they would basically run out of the country. So, you know, if they blame me for bringing the Hampstead case to their platform, then I guess they're rubbing their hands with glee that they've just wiped out over a decade's work on my YouTube channel, 500 videos. But by the grace of God, about 6 months ago, a subscriber contacted me and he said, I've been trying to get the courage to contact you for a year, and I'd like to help. And he said, I don't have an income. I've retired my business, but I'm good on the computer. Can I help? And I was like, yeah, praise the Lord, praise the Lord. And so something he's done in the last 6 months is backed up, like I say, all my 500 videos, except the private ones. So, you know, feel good, Biggie and Mel, for what you did. You probably took crucial evidence connected to the murder of my sister, alleged murder. Crucial evidence to do with my own historical child abuse, MK Ultra, and so on. Well done. But I'm going to focus on the good. 485 probably of the 500 videos crashed are backed up. So I've got a new YouTube channel and you can subscribe to that. My blog's going to be a complete mess. Oh, that will make you so happy, Biggie, won't it? So I've had almost 600,000 hits on my blog, but every single link is now not going to work. So that might take a couple of months to repair. You know, who knows? Look, it's just cyberspace, people. So I just wanted to let you know that. Don't panic. I'm gone from Angela Power Disney on YouTube. I'm back on Angie Power Disney on YouTube. Please subscribe. You know, there's going to be hundreds of man hours needed to re-upload everything and put it on BitChute and my backup channel. And I do have a GoFundMe, and if you can contribute, there are people on Facebook. I go very easy on you guys because it feels like my home. You know, I'll get like 500-600 birthday greetings, 500-600 condolences when my mother dies. I'll get like people that I utterly respect sending me really reliable information. Facebook has been my home, you know, but I would say for those who follow my work and have followed it, I would say there have been millions of engagements on my Facebook page. And if you're one of those people that just checks it out or follows it or whatever, I will unashamedly put up my GoFundMe link and just ask you to help me get through the man hours needed to recover from this latest cyber attack. You know, it's not, my mother just died on November the 8th, a good friend died on October 31st, like, you know, the government's saying in Ireland, I don't know about where you are, the government's saying you can have Christmas if you don't hug anybody. Like, are they seriously going to release the hug police? Is there going to be a Garda at your door saying, has anybody hugged each other? Crazy shit. On a serious note, I've got a prison number for Wilfred one. I'll give it to you. A0599EP at HMP Berwyn, BERWYN, Wrexham, Wales. I don't know the postcode. That prison cost something like 153 million or some crazy amount of money to build, and it was only built 3 years ago. But already the first governor has been suspended. What's that about? You know, what was that about? Secondly, you know, based on people who've got boyfriends inside or partners that are prison guards, or, you know, the various, you know, gossip is not always a bad thing, you know. If it took Wrexham, Berwyn, 5 days to say that Robert Frith was found dead in his cell, that happened on a Saturday. It was released in the mainstream media on the following Thursday. Who knows what's going on behind closed doors and with sanction? So if it took them from Saturday to Thursday to tell the public that Robert Frith, and they didn't even say he was found hanging, they just said he died in custody on remand, and it's since been pretty much confirmed that he was found hanging. And from somebody that works in that prison, they say it's impossible to hang yourself in that prison. So state of the art, 154 million, like up to date, blah, blah, is it that it would have to be an inside job? It sounds very much like the Epstein scenario. I'm not going to share too much on that case. I have a good ex-policeman friend who's saying, shut up and don't implicate yourself. I want to come visit you. I don't want you banged up. I don't even know why I'm laughing, because it's horrendous. It's horrendous. It's horrendous that 6 people could be arrested with armed police accused of abducting or kidnapping a child against their will, without saying that the mother and the auntie were in the 6 people arrested, and that there were abuse allegations afoot and court proceeding reports and so on. I still think that's irresponsible mainstream reporting. You know, what happened to the real journalists that, you know, like I'm semi-retired in Ireland, you know, and heavily stalked and trolled with bad health. So how come I could find out that it was not 6 lunatics running around stealing children? You know, where are the real reporters with the Mirror or the Welsh papers or whatever? I'll read out Wilfred's prison number again. A0599EP. I don't have the prison numbers yet for the females arrested, but they are probably in HMP style, STYALL. Yeah, and we're trying to get word on the ground, and I made a video. It looks like Biggie and Mel took my YouTube channel down after over a decade, but it was kind of interesting that I just released some very sensitive videos about the Wilfred Wong case, including emails from the German side of the mother's extended family, and then bang, my channel goes down. I'm not going to go into the conspiracy. I'm pretty upset. I am upset. Like, I'm trying not to be jolly. There's not a lot of people here, and it's okay. I'm shadow banned. What are you going to do? I'm trying not to be jolly. I do want you to share this. I do want people to subscribe to my backup YouTube channel, but I'm fairly gutted. I'm fairly devastated, but I'll get over it. And I just want to report that I've spoken to two people. Well, I've spoken to a lot of people today, but two people in particular. One is somebody very familiar with Camilla Batman Gaelic, the Cyril Smith type female version of a lady that ran kids company in South London. I have family in Herne Hill, Brixton, Peckham. I'm very familiar with South London's stomping ground. So I've spoken firsthand with somebody whose child went to Grace Academy. It was one of the first academy schools opened, supposedly in the ghetto, in Brixton, which was being gentrified anyway. But Tony Blair was kind of enthusiastic about that. There were a lot of dodgy people creating these academies in the ghetto to make stars out of underprivileged children. So the person I've spoken to, her child went there. And what I didn't know was Grace Academy in Brixton had an office for Kids Company. Kids Company had an office in that academy. And so this reminds me of the nuns, like putting us children in the 60s and 70s into MK Ultra projects and programs by referral. So Grace Academy, I can't remember the full name of it, but it has an office. It had an office for Kids Company. And so any children that were from single parent families or underprivileged families or acting out in school or in any way looking vulnerable were referred straight to the Kids Company office. Having said that, this person that I spoke to for almost an hour this morning said that she interacted with them for almost a decade because of her son being referred to them through school. And she said they're enormously generous. Like they paid for flooring, carpets, beds, she said they paid for an awful lot, no questions asked, to support her as the mother of this vulnerable, acting out son. And then they made him a volunteer, and they used to fly him over, and he used to go off taking vulnerable children to places like Devon and Cornwall on holidays. And he didn't get a salary per se, but he would be paid, even if he was in Ireland, he would be paid all his expenses to come and volunteer with Kids Company. But having said that, in 10 years of interacting with them, the person I spoke to said the only thing that really grated on her was her son is black. And at one point in his teenage years in Grace Academy in Brixton, he went Afro. He's black, like he let his hair go now. And they forbade him. And they pulled him over the coals and said he would never get a job in an office or a theatre company if he presented himself like that. And I featured that recently on my Facebook, and my niece was so outraged. My niece is mixed race because she's my sister's daughter. And she was so outraged at that, she put it up on Facebook, and it came up on my Facebook memories from 9 years ago. But in fairness, she also said that in 10 years, living in Peckham and with my son in school at Grace Academy and being a beneficiary of Kids Company, she said, I never heard of children going missing. So I have to be honest with that. And she said there was a grapevine, like we were close-knit. It would be a thing. If black children were going missing, it would hit the grapevine, even if it never hit the media. So yeah, she's perfectly open. It's a bit like, it possibly is a bit like Freemasons and Catholic Church and so on, where the people at the lower levels are completely oblivious to what's going on. So my niece was a service provider recipient with a son that was acting out at school, and then they just, blessed her when she got rid of whatever, when she moved house. There was no expense spared. And then her son went on to be a volunteer. But I know that son would tell me if he had witnessed, rituals or trafficking. So what I'm reporting on the one hand is there was no evidence from that person's testimony of 10 years experience with Camilla Batman Gaelic. There was no evidence of children going missing. Unlock Black Friday. No, I don't want to, thank you. I don't even know when Black Friday is, and I don't celebrate Christmas. Right, so yeah, I have to report that. But at the same time, this person has said to me, I know that organisations can seem benevolent and innocent, and yet if you go to the higher echelons, you will find a whole different story. And I have to say that's true in any society, any church group. You have to go to the upper levels. It's like with Freemasonry, if you just do the first few degrees, it's just a nice charitable networking thing. But as you climb the ladder and show yourself willing to be compromised, you will enter the darker echelons. So I have shared, and Nikki has been brilliant, and other people, on showing the connections between Camilla Batman Gaelic and a whole host of nightmare people like Richard Branson, David Cameron, Lady Ivy, Rachel, what's her name, Rachel? Can't remember. Everybody. Epstein is like the reference book, Epstein's Black Book. And by the way, I had a copy of that probably 2 or 3 years ago, and the one that's come out this year is different. It's been edited. But my computers are confiscated, so I don't have the original one I got 2 or 3 years ago. But that's beside the point. But I absolutely am on red alert with Camilla Batman Gaelic, with her connections, with Art for Embassies, which is all Nikki and her team's research. Art for Embassies, transporting children, diplomatic immunity, no inspection, spirit cooking, Marina Abramovic stuff, absolute, just the connections go on and on and on. So it's like this is an unfolding story, but it seems also that certain born-again Christian churches have been infiltrated and are fronts and covers. And I have to echo, I know, like at risk of losing some of my Christian friends, I'm a born-again Christian, proud, but at the risk of losing some of them, as an MK Ultra, child sexual abuse, trauma-based mind control, blah, 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 survivor, I have a right to ask, and I would echo the questions. If Wilfred Wong lived in Camden and was seasoned at surveillance of satanic ritual abuse cults, in my opinion, the most overt, careless and brazen one was on his doorstep in Hampstead. Again, if there were connections to born-again Christian churches in Brighton, there's a slime shop workshop a few doors away, and there was a court case prosecuted by Ricky Dearman a few weeks ago, locally in Brighton, if Wilfred Wong and the two people from that, Wilfred's from Camden and he's connected with that church, at least in persecuted church, blah, blah, fundraising, so on. Not fundraising, but like maybe just campaigns, but between the Camden address and the Brighton address and the alleged skill for surveillance and rescue, I have to ask, how did the Hampstead case slip under the radar? I have to ask that. And the other valid question, and sorry to my Christian friends, and if you abandon me, so be it. I'm a mind control survivor, so I won't be mind controlled by anybody, even if I have to go back to them and apologize and say, sorry, I was being hypervigilant, I was being non-trusting, I was being wounded. I would rather go back and be honest than blindly follow because I want you to like me or include me. Because when you've been an MK Ultra survivor, victim, uncontrolled, as everybody is right now with this pandemic, but when you've been a victim of that from the very experimental stage in the 50s, I think I have earned a right to say, can you answer this, please, or can you answer that? So I have to ask as well and echo other people's questions that if, as Jeanette Archer has said, Wilfred's a veteran at this, he's rescued loads of children, got them out of the UK, then what happened to the other children? And what was done to expose the cults that they were rescued from? And the other person I spoke to again today, face to face, is a paramedic, very highly qualified, now a doctor in Ireland, but also a kind of covert pedo exposer, going back to the provisional IRA in the north and travel agencies that were really running pedo tourism in cooperation with MI6 to entrap and blackmail people. So a real old hand at this paedophilia thing, but the trafficking's gone off the charts. The trafficking's gone to mafia on steroids level. But I spoke to him and I said, is it possible that the born again Christian churches are infiltrating the UK? And he said, absolutely. And the other thing he said to me, he gave me some locations. I don't need to share them right now. The other thing he said to me was the NHS is the front and the cover. It used to be, and it still is to some degree, social services and Crown prosecution services, and obviously the judiciary. But he said the best kept secret is the health service. That's their cover at the moment for child abuse and trafficking. So I don't have all the answers at the moment. I've got another communication from Germany. I'm going on blind faith there. It feels, I'm just reporting as I go. I don't have the answers and I don't have possibly the legal right to, speculate on the answers. The trial of Wilfred Wong and the remaining 4 surviving people is scheduled for the 7th of December. The vigil was today. I will look for some live streams. I doubt many made it to a vigil because of the COVID lockdown, but some brave souls will. And as somebody else said, if Robert Frith was hung, suicided in prison, and if anybody else was attacked, it would have been allowed by the authorities. that is a multi-million-pound prison, only 3 years old. And we've already got the previous prison governor suspended. So I've got more questions than answers, but if you can help with the logistics, I'm going to put my GoFundMe up. I don't want like all your money. I just want enough to recover from the backlash of this latest attack. I look for 500 euros a month. I'm a semi-retired journalist. Like, it's peanuts. It's peanuts. But I'm also a survivor, and I would do this until I can't anymore. But I just would warn you that I can't anymore could be coming quicker than we think. I'm shocked at losing my work YouTube channel. I am shocked and I am upset. And it could just as easily happen on Facebook. So I have a backup Facebook channel, Angie Power Disney. I have a backup YouTube channel, Angie Power Disney. I have a BitChute, I think it's Angela Power Disney. And I have a blog, angelascashes.org. And you know what? We might all be on a blackout by January and have no internet anyway. So get right with Jesus. Get right with Jesus, get right with God. And for as long as we're here, let's occupy. Please stay in touch. I didn't get many chatting. It might be the time of day. Who's that woman in charge of that big lady? My kids are too. I don't know. I don't know what that comment is. Camilla's not black. She's Iranian. Camilla Batman Gaelic is an Iranian princess. Hali Shubak Tori. And I have to say this, even though my niece has said that in 10 years of interacting, yes, she had her favourites and she threw money around, but my niece can't see any children disappearing or hear of any, although she's open. She does agree that Camilla's company is disgusting. My grandpa used to say, show me your company and I'll show you your character. But if you watch the BBC documentary, it's on Nicky Cooper's wall, and I shared it onto my wall, about Kids Company, Camilla openly says on 1 year she had a budget of 24 million and she spent 12 on salaries. There were 450 people on salary. How do you throw 12 million at them? And that's before you've paid for luxury apartments with swimming pools and the best of everything, because you want to give the most underprivileged the best. It occurs to me like a sort of communism on steroids. And I used to be a left winger at university, but it seems to me like we'll give money away random, like £100 a week, food stamps, carpets, wooden flooring, beds, yeah, whatever you need, go. University, flights, tuition, whatever you need. But it's based on keeping the poor dependent, because when Kids Company collapsed, bang, that was all gone. And the people at the top were living in the most obscene luxury. And the reason I called Camilla the female Cyril Smith is because despite even any health allegations, the kind of obesity, morbid obesity that she demonstrated, to me, even with possibly a health issue, to me is the very opposite of saying help the poor. Let's go for the underprivileged. Let's balance things out. Richard Branson, give me that. David Cameron, give me that. BBC, give me this. There's something not quite adding up with that. And I don't mean to be personal. My mother taught me personal remarks are very rude. My mother died November 8th. Was buried November 11th, and thank you to all those who send condolences, and for that I love Facebook. And you know, if things keep going the way they are, my days are probably, I'm hugely shadow banned. My days are probably numbered here, but I just wish for everybody watching and that will watch this, please share this to groups and wherever. And I just pray that you have a plan in case there's a electricity power cut. I pray that you have a plan in case the internet goes down. I pray that you have a plan in terms of who is your circle of 5, you know, who is your circle of 300, who are your trusted few, you know, for some difficult days ahead. I do think President Trump is going to serve another 4 years. I do think Joe Biden and his son will be arrested. You know, but that's just by the by. It's these times are biblical. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Angie Power Disney. I'll put links on here, and just follow it with me. I'm not trying to doom and gloom people. I won't take a vaccine. I won't be COVID tested. You know, I'm technically vulnerable with, you know, diagnosis in the past of emphysema and COPD and asthma and all the rest of it. I haven't been COVID tested, and I haven't cocooned. I don't wear a mask unless I'm forced to, and then I wear it under here. And that's not to be disrespectful. That's just because we're being played, in my opinion. There is a virus, but we're being manipulated. And I still think it's not time to just roll over. It's not. You know, I don't advocate violence, and I'm a bit of a pussy like that, but it's certainly not time to just roll over. So yeah, thanks for the input. Very few in the chat, but I trust, you know, my live streams go anywhere from 150 shares to 27,000 shares. So it's not about the views for me, but for anybody that wants to stay in touch and follow what I do, you know, both as a survivor in my recovery and campaigning against child sexual abuse and paedophile rings and SRA rings, then please let them know that my contact details, it's going to be just a little bit harder to find me. Just going to see if I've left anything out. Now, I've told you about the 2 people I spoke to today at length. One that said Camilla Batman-Gaelic, no evidence of missing children. To her knowledge, she did have evidence of what seemed like a ritual murder. But she said that family had been messing with juju and black magic for years before Kids Company came on the scene. She talked about a murder which seemed like a gang murder, but had some ritualistic aspects to it. And I've suggested she speak to Nikki Cooper. So yeah, she was familiar with what seemed like a ritual murder in the area, but was passed off as a gang murder. So yeah, so more questions than answers. Please keep praying for wisdom and discernment. And I don't know, should I apologise for still keeping an open mind? Is the born again Christian church infiltrated? Are charlatans hiding in plain sight, or have the good guys been absolutely captured, taken hostage, and made a spectacle of by the Freemasonic Satanists? And I probably err more on that side at this time. So I'll make more videos. I am reeling from the Biggie and Mel attack, but that's what I was going to say. They had to move from the Netherlands. They say because of hoax tape trolls, and their landlord having found the Hookstead online and decided he didn't want them as tenants anymore. So Hookstead does real damage. Prue Halliwell is out for my blood and reporting me to the Gardaí and the Welsh courts and all the rest of it. Don't forget Bryn Eston, Bryn Allen, Welsh children's home scandals, Kidwelly, successfully prosecuted satanic ritual abuse case, where Nathaniel Harris, a child of some of the perpetrators, said only the tiniest portion of that paedophile ring was successfully apprehended and prosecuted. Check out Nathaniel Harris on YouTube. Check out Nikki Cooper, Niki, on Facebook and YouTube. And find me again, Angie Power Disney on YouTube. Please subscribe. All right, God bless people. I think that's it. Bye. Wow. I just managed to walk the dog a bit shorter than usual. But I walk the dog. And stay in touch, people. God bless. And help if you can. Literally, it could take 3 months to repair the damage done. But look, Amazing Polly went down. Like SGT report went down. Like it's almost a badge of honor. Only to be fair, I have to say this time, it doesn't look directly like YouTube. It looks like Biggie Melvy, even though it coincided with my coverage of the Wilfred Wong, Anchor Hill abduction stroke kidnapping case. God bless people and keep your ears to the ground. Angie Power Disney now on YouTube. And pray for my Facebook to stay up. And pray for your own well-being. I know this is a really hard time. So many people, the suicides in Ireland are off the charts. The mental health issues off the charts. The domestic violence issues off the charts. The collapse of local businesses off the charts. Just stay close to Jesus.